is 12 minutes past 7. A very good morning to you. And you probably remember the recent protest that happened in Nottingham, where counter groups gathered in the Old Market Square following the fatal stabbings of 3 young girls in Southport. Now, at the time, there were false rumours spreading online about who did it, that they'd arrived illegally on a boat. And it meant that many people in diverse communities felt unsafe and felt frightened. Well, one organisation in Nottingham is launching 2 campaigns to help vulnerable people who've been affected by these crimes. Communities Inc. is launching 2 campaigns. One's called Tips for Keeping Women Safe, and the other called Tips for Allies. Shamsher Chohan is the Creative Director at Communities Inc. and is here this morning. A very good morning to you, Shamsher. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
So tell me about these then. Let's start with the motivation as to why you wanted to start 2 campaigns.
Well, as you've just said, these protests, these gatherings can often leave people feeling anxious, feeling scared. And although, we've had some of those counter demonstrations that are spreading messages of support, sometimes it's not enough, And so we actually were approached by Heya, a women's organisation, mainly works with Arabic and Muslim women, but engages women from all backgrounds. And they told us what we already knew, that, women are scared of going out, feeling that they're going to be verbally abused or attacked. And really it was sort of responding to that we got together and put together some things that women can do to keep themselves safe.
Wow,
ironically enough, just a few days earlier, we'd launched our Tips for Allies. So again, we know that most members of the public don't want to see people getting hurt, don't want to see people getting threatened, but often they feel powerless in terms of what they can do. So we've produced some Tips for Allies, simple things that members of the public can do if they see somebody being targeted or treated unfairly or in a way that's threatening to anybody in their environment.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, isn't it, that we've got to do this? Tips to keep women safe, tips for allies.
Absolutely.
Sad, isn't it?
Certainly, with the, women were saying that they, all they wanted was just not to be attacked. And, one of the things that we've sort of provided in the tips is to get a personal alarm, because, again, women were saying they were scared that if they were attacked or verbally abused, that they were scared they weren't going to be able to scream loud enough to get attention, which, as you say, is awful. It's an awful thing to have to think about.
Mm. And is this, so the kind of the anecdotes that you're hearing, the stories that you're hearing, the real life, I suppose, incidents that you're hearing, is it so much to do with there has actually been an incident, or is it to do with fear of an incident?
There have been incidents that we've heard about, and obviously news spreads very quickly when incidents do happen. I'm not saying there's been lots of incidents, but where those incidents do take place, people find out about it, and then people start feeling scared. And especially women, when they're going out with their children, they start feeling that they don't feel that they can step outside. Women were saying that they're walking past people that they've walked past every day, but now they're walking past the same people thinking, are they going to get verbally abused? Are they going to get attacked once they've gone by? So it has created that environment of sort of paranoia and fear, and some of it is based in reality, and some of it is probably just their assumptions about what they think people are going to do or say to them.
Yeah. Tell me about how it's been received, these 2 campaigns.
Well, the tips for allies are just simple things. Most people will think there's nothing I can do. I don't want to put myself at any risk. But it's just simple things like, being aware of sort of, who's on your street, checking in on any neighbours that might be vulnerable, just being polite and engaging to people, just smiling at people, because then they know that you're not a threat. So people have actually found it really, really useful just to realise that actually it's just simple things that make a big difference sometimes, and they don't have to be going over, having long conversations, doing an intervention that might put themselves at any risk. So people have really appreciated those simple things that most people can do easily, and we're hoping that will spread and that will make a difference.
Yeah. Well, Shamsher, thank you for joining us. We are going to hear a bit more actually from the organisation Heya, who I know you're working in partnership with a bit later on this morning. But really interesting to hear about that. Shamsher Chohan there from Communities Inc. So they've got 2 campaigns. One's called Tips for Keeping Women Safe. The other called Tips for Allies. A bit more on this after 8 o'clock this morning.